Welcome again as ESPN brings you back to Louisville, Kentucky, where the 120th Kentucky Derby is now history. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. We were with you just an hour and a half ago, of course, our 2-hour Derby preview show. Well, now all the excitement is over. The 120th Run for the Roses is now history. We're not going to give it away in case you missed it, but we'll be showing you the 1994 Kentucky Derby in its entirety. Take a look at the field for this race, and I guess it was, of course, with 14 in, remember, 15 originally entered, but late scratch of Candali. So we ended up with one gate for the Kentucky Derby for the first time since 1985 when Spendebuck ran. As we go to the race time favorite, Holy Bull, winner of 7 of 8, winner of the Florida Derby and also the Bluegrass Stakes. The horse everybody thought would be the one on the lead, the one to beat. He'll break from the 4-hole, the gray. Let's take a look now at the 120th Run for the Roses. Dave Johnson with the call from ABC Sports.
2 minutes and 40 seconds. Now we're ready, and they're off. And Ulysses from between horses goes for the early lead. Go for Gin is right up there, and Holy Bull toward the inside. The gray horse is behind a wall of 4 horses as they passes for the first time. Go for Gin on the outside leads it. From between horses, Ulysses. Powers Castle on the inside, right there third. Valiant Nature is fourth. On the outside, Tabasco Cat is fifth. Then Holy Bull, sixth at this point. Between horses, 3 off the lead. Strode's Creek is in 7th position. On the outside, that's a Meadow Flight in the white cap. At the rail, Rocco is moving up, and I believe Valiant Nature had a problem there around that turn. Then comes Bloomin' Affair. Soul of the Matter on the inside, Smilin' Singin' Sam. And on the outside, Meadow Flight is dropping back a bit. And then the last 2 horses, Southern Rhythm, and at the back of the pack, Mahogany Hall. The half at 47 and 1/5 seconds, but not on the front end to Holy Bull. He's 3 off of it. The leader is Go for Jim. In front with Chris McCarron by a length and a quarter. Ulysses second. Powers Castle on the outside third. And there goes Smilin' Singin' Sam rushing up on the outside from 4th to 2nd quickly. Around the far turn. Go for Gin leads it. Smilin' Singin' Sam. Powers Castle between horses. Tabasco Cat with the white blinkers. 4th. Holy Bull on the inside is still 5th. And Brocco is beginning to close ground out in the middle of the racetrack. Brocco is flying along with Strode's Creek. Bloomin' Affair is next. And on the inside, Holy Bull is dropping back. Holy Bull is out of it. He's about 9th at this point. Now they're in the stretch. Go for Jim, who's lit from the start, has the lead. He's throwing off by 2 with McCarron. On the inside, Brocco is second. Here comes Strode's Creek in the middle of the racetrack. And down the stretch they come. It's Go for Jim digging in and holding on. He is going to win the Kentucky Derby. Wire to wire. He's eased under the wire.
An upset in the 120th Kentucky Derby as Go for Gin, bred in Kentucky, trained by New Yorker Nick Zito, owned by Bill Condren, Joe Carnacci, and ridden by the Hall of Famer Chris McCarron. McCarron winning his 2nd Kentucky Derby. He won with Ali Shiva in '87. Nick Zito, Condren, Carnacci also won their 2nd Derby. They won with Strike the Gold here in 1991. There were the payoffs, 20-20, 840, 580 for Go for Gin. Strode's Creek closed well, $786. Bloomin' Affair from Jack Van Berg's barn ran 3rd at $8. 6.5 exacta, $184.80. The running time, 2:03 and 3 for the 1.25 miles on a sloppy racetrack. Back with more of our wrap-up of the 120th Kentucky Derby. This Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America presentation, the 1994 Kentucky Derby wrap-up, is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clear, classic taste. By Autotote, where the action is. And by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Shot from the Fujifilm blimp of just moments after the 1994 Kentucky Derby. And our thanks to the folks from Fuji for these outstanding aerial photos throughout our pre-show over 2 hours, and now our special half-hour wrap-up show. Well, for the 15th year, the favorite was beaten in the Kentucky Derby. Holy Bull, a loser, and Mike Smith is down there with Bob Newmeyer now.
It's always disappointing for the losing riders, particularly when you're on the favorite. And with me is Mike Smith aboard Holy Bull, and It was an eventful journey for your horse. But let me ask you, first of all, before we roll the replay, about the start. And Ulysses, breaking from the 5-hole, was very stubborn, wouldn't load. You had to sit in there for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes. That's not the best place and time to be in that position, is it, Mike Smith?
No, it really is, especially in a race like the Derby, and the crowd's making a lot of noise. It makes the horses really anxious. It was very unfortunate, not only for me, but for Valiant Nature down inside there, and a couple other horses that were in there. Soul the Matter was stuck in there, and other horse next to me. It's just not a comfortable thing, and it kind of made my horse a little antsy in there, which was the wrong thing to do.
A lot of folks figured then you'd break on the lead. Do you think the delay might have caught you flat-footed at all or anything?
Well, it certainly did, and after we got away a little flat-footed, well, Ulysses kind of broke in and kind of wiped us out leaving there, but even after that, I thought I would be okay. So I lost that part of the battle, but I thought that my horse went ahead and relaxed well, and then we go into the first turn, and when a 3-horse, you'll see here when we start heading into the first turn, I feel all right here. My horse is kind of taking it well. Valiant Nature's right next to me. We're fine. Now you see the horse on the rail. He'll kind of ease out here. When he wheels out, he knocks Valiant Nature out of there and knocks him over my heels right here. And when that drug him down in behind, he cut his back leg pretty bad, and after that, he just never was in the race.
All right, let's pick up the action again on the far turn, and by this time, you're well out of it, and with a natural speed horse, you're on the inside of the rail, and by this time, you know it's curtains.
Well, he just let go of me. Right after that little incident happened in the first turn, believe me, he just come out of the bridle and just let go of me, and I knew we weren't there. It wasn't meant to be today, I guess.
The first turn, Powers Castle, then, to recapitulate, in your opinion, came out a little bit on Valiant Nature, forced him to check, and you caught the brunt of that incident, correct?
It forced the Valiant Nature to check, and then it knocked him over my heels, which caught the back end of me, drug my horse down in behind. It'd be like somebody grabbing you by the back of the shirt, except it cut his back leg up pretty good. And then he went on to come out even more and get me, and after that, I was just done.
All right, Mike, thank you.
You bet.
All right, Mike Smith, disappointing loser aboard Holy Bull, an eventful trip here in the Kentucky Derby. Let's now go to Leslie Visser.
Bob, all week long, Nick Zito said he would not mind a muddy day. This horse had 10 lifetime starts over 6 off tracks, and he never finished worse than second. He had enough speed, and as Nick Zito told us, he knew the way home. Back to you.
I'm not sure. At Churchill Downs here, and the winners group is starting to gather here on the roof here, the press box with us. We have the owners of Go for Gin, Joe Carnacci, Bill Condren, Nick Zito. They're all ready to talk to you when we come back with a wrap-up of Go for Gin's victory in this 120th Kentucky Derby. Be right back to Churchill Downs to talk with the winners of the Roses. Back at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, the 120th Kentucky Derby is now history. We now know now the winner, Go for Gin. Here are the winning connections. The owners. Right to my right here is Bill Condren, the Harvard grad, the man who's an investor and been so successful in his career. Next to him, Joe Carnacci. I've been trying to say that right. Publisher of games, including one you might have heard of, Trivial Pursuit. And, of course, to my side, America's favorite trainer. This is one Nick Zito, the New York native. We'll be talking to Nick in just a moment. Bill, we did this in 1991 with Strike the Gold. Compare the two.
It gets sweeter all the time.
Joe, your thought?
Well, I'd have to echo that. I didn't realize how difficult it was. I did this time, and it's much more exciting for me.
Now, clarify the naming of this horse. People think Go for Gin might have some alcoholic reference. Not true.
No, not at all. We're gin rummy players. And the mother is never knock. And every gin rummy player knows if you don't knock, you go for gin.
Again, somebody is so striking. 1991 seems hard to believe. And back here again. Talk about how you acquired the horse.
We acquired Go for Gin at the Saratoga Select Sale in August, and as is always the case, we rely on Nick to select what he thinks are the more promising yearlings, and then we try to take it from there. And we acquired Go for Gin at that sale, and needless to say, we've been very happy ever since.
Bill, Joe, some people I know kind of lost faith in this colt down in Florida. Did you ever wonder, was he as good as we first thought?
I thought from the way Nick talked and the way we watched them that Nick was trying to time him, and obviously he timed him perfectly.
He did indeed, and that leads us very nicely to the trainer, Nick Zito. Nick, square around here and look America in the eye. And I know I saw on the telecast you just said, bless him, God bless America.
That's correct, and that's what this country is about. It's the land of opportunity, and where could a kid like myself growing up with good parents, and that's what I want to thank them. I want to thank my mom and my dad who's in heaven, along with my brother. You know, I wouldn't be here without them.
Let's take another look at that race, and you're going to watch Go for Gin. He'll break from the 6. Take a look now, Go for Gin in those bright yellow silks here, and talk about the start.
Well, you know, as you can see, I told Chris, I said, you know, with the mud today, I said, why don't you just give him his head and let him do whatever he wants to do. You know, he's a free-running horse. His great father, Cormorant, he kind of was that way, and he's got a lot of blood in him. He's a hot-blooded horse, and I said, look, just give him his head. Don't tie him up at all during the race, and just let him run his race. And as you can see, this is why McCarron's in the Hall of Fame.
Are you surprised at all, though, to get almost every call in this race?
Well, you know, Holy Bull's only bad race was in that off-track at Gulfstream Park. And, you know, I said, I don't want to, you know, rely on any other speed but us. I said, if anyone is going to go with Holy Bull, as a matter of fact, I said that if I could have a wish list this week, I'd like to have 4 and Holy Bull 5, or I'd like to, you know, Holy Bull be 4 and we be 5, you know, one or the other, just so we could be next to him. I thought whoever was closest in this race was going to win it. And what could I say? The good Lord, he decided to make it rain today, and it was great for us.
Nick, I look back in his past performances. He actually broke his maiden. In fact, his first 2 races were on sloppy racetracks at Aqueduct, and he won by more than 20 lengths.
Well, Chris, you know, it gets corny, but I'll say it from now until the day I die. You got to be lucky and blessed in this game. And we were absolutely lucky, and we were absolutely blessed today. The racetrack played a big part in the 120th running of the Kentucky Derby, and what could I say? You see a great horse running on a great day.
The first time that Chris McCarron had been on it.
Well, Chris worked him Sunday, believe it or not, last Sunday, and he loved his acceleration. He loved that, you know, the way he runs. He knows he's a trier. He never runs a bad race.
As they turn for home, were you afraid you might get caught? As Stroh's Creek makes a big move here on the outside. Arthur Hancock, yellow and gray silks, and a big move by Bloomin' Affair.
Well, you know, I said just one more race to go, and I know this horse is a gutty horse, and what could I say? He just kept trying and digging in for everything he had, and he said, I'm going to get to that wire. I'm going to do it for my father, and I'm going to do it for my mother, and that's what he did.
Is it sweeter than Strike the Goal?
I'll tell you, you know, I have a special feeling for Strikey, as you know, but I'll tell you, if you can believe it, yes, and I'll never lose this fire for this game, and I'll never lose this fire for this race. This is the race. This is what America's about.
How about this outside? Can we relive this one again here? Joe Carnasher, Bill Conner. Here's Strike the Goal coming the outside. In that case, the light blue cap, the pink silks. Another big upset in the Derby. And wow, what a moment.
It's the greatest, highest feeling in the world. And where's my friend Andy By? I'm going to give him a plug. Andy said, Andy said to me, just for a little while. I said, I'm going to be in God's living room for a little while. He said, Nick, just for a little while. Guess what, Andy? I'm going again.
All right. Nick Zito, trainer, the Kentucky Derby winner again, along with Joe Conner, Bill Carnacci. We want to thank them all. Again, congratulations, fellas. The connections are Go for Gin. We'll be right back with more of our Derby wrap-up show from Churchill Downs.
Feeling.
The winner's circle now empty at Churchill Downs, but just a few moments ago, Go for Gin and the connections were there to celebrate the victory in the 120th Kentucky Derby. Let's go to Leslie Visser now.
Well, Chris, I'm up here with a Hall of Fame basketball coach and a thoroughbred lover of the game. And Denny Crum, congratulations to you. You actually skipped some of the ceremonies. You're going to be enshrined on Monday into the Basketball Hall of Fame to be here.
I told him that I had been in Louisville 23 years and I wasn't going to miss the 23rd Derby, but I would come Sunday and then Monday, and I'm looking forward to that. But this is, Derby is a special time. That's just something I don't want to be drug away from for anything.
And what about this race? You told me you liked Stroh's Creek.
Yeah, I did. In fact, Stroh's Creek and Bloomin' Affair both got some of my money. And I didn't get the winner, though, Go for Gin. I picked Holy Bull to win, but in Stroh's Creek second and Bloomin' Affair third. I got second, third, but I didn't get the winner.
Pretty good deal. You've been in the thoroughbred game for more than 10 years. You've had a lot of winners. Are there similarities between horses and athletes?
You bet, except the horses don't talk back to you. And,
Don't ask for a raise.
And they can't tell you when things aren't going as well. I mean, you have to know things about them and how they act. But, yeah, they're both great businesses. I'm very fortunate. I love them both.
Well, congratulations to you. Best of luck on Monday.
Thanks.
Back to you, Chris.
Take a look at a Hall of Famer and a lucky Irishman he is, Christopher McCarron. He won the Kentucky Derby in 1987 when he stumbled and bumbled down the stretch with Ali Sheba, the great one. And now he picks up Go for Gin, a horse he had never ridden in a race before today, and wins his second Kentucky Derby. Christopher, first, congratulations. What were the keys?
Thanks, Chris. The key was being on the right horse at the right time. This horse exploded today.
Let's take a look now at the race and get your comments as you again look at it. We'll pick it up on the backstretch, Christopher.
All right. He was going very comfortably all within himself all the way, Chris. And
on the lead in the yellow.
Yeah, he's on the lead. And I didn't expect to be in front from the word go, but Nick wanted me close to pressure Holy Bull. And for some reason, I was in front when I passed the wire the first time. And I gave a peek back here to see if anybody was running very prominently. And when I didn't see anybody coming strong, I was really confident because I had a lot of horse left. I didn't really move on him until I straightened out for home, and when I asked him to change leads, he did. Right here, I gave him a little tap on the shoulder, and he exploded. I said, oh, man, we might win this one.
There's the lead change. You saw him go past the quarter pole, coming up on the 8th pole. Now, there's your look back.
Yeah, I gave a little look back earlier than that, too, and I could hear Eddie coming. I didn't know who it was, but I could hear a horse charging through the mud here, and but Go for Gin had plenty left, and he finished very well.
I tell you, we talked about it all spring. Playing the mount game, trying to find the right one at the right time. How did you come up with Go for Gin?
Yeah, I was just lucky. I was very lucky. Jerry Bailey was riding 2 good colts in New York and had to ride one of them, and somebody had to ride the other, and I was lucky that Nick selected me.
1987, you won your first Derby with Ali Sheba. Now back for a second one. Can you compare? Can you make any comparisons with the two?
Well, they ran about the same time. If I remember correctly, Ali Sheba ran around 2:03 and change. And this horse showed more speed today than Ali Sheba did. He had a world of traffic problems in the 87 Derby, but Go for Gin was very strong.
You're taking a look at a Hall of Famer, one of the great riders of America, Chris McCarron. I know, Judy, the kids are thrilled to death. Scotty McClellan, your agent is. Congratulations, Chris. You're a great representative of this sport. The man who put the Don Macbeth Fund together to help all the disabled riders. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Let's go down now to Bob Newmeyer. Bob?
Well, it's interesting that when Leslie was talking to Denny Crum, that I know in his glorious career that he's had some of his ball players score 40 or 50 points in a losing game. Yes, horses like athletes can be valiant in defeat. And I think in retrospect that we need to give a lot of credit to a horse named Brocco in this Kentucky Derby. No, he didn't finish off on the board. He finished 4th, but what a courageous run he made. Watch him at the start, throw his head to the left, and get flat-footed left at the post. He's dead last at this stage. He's one of the favorites in the race. He should have been tracking 4 or 5 lengths off the pace down the backside. Instead, Gary Stevens had no alternative but to hustle him into contention as soon as he could. Don't forget, this is a long 1.25 mile journey, and Brocco made a sustained run. He's in a black cap in the light blue on the outside, and you see Brocco now moving into 4th place with the shadow roll, just poking his head in front of, I believe it is Tabasco Cat. Then he's going to hook into the rail, and he'll actually come into 2nd position. But I think if you watch how Brocco responds down the lane, you'll see that he was exhausted from his earlier efforts. Watch Gary hit him with a left hand, and now he'll start drifting to the middle of the track. That's a sure sign that the horse was leg weary from being used too hard, too fast, too early. Gary Stevens had no alternative. Lady Luck was not smiling on Gary Stevens and Brocco today. A courageous run nonetheless. Chris?
All right, Bob, we'll be back with more of our analysis of this 120th Kentucky Derby. Back with the man who called the race for America. Dave Johnson joins us right after we come back.
In the year 23,000...
To bring you for the first time our live wrap-up show from Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby Day. And joining me now, the man who's called 16 Kentucky Derbies in a row, our friend Dave Johnson. Before we get Dave's thoughts, let's go to the full order of finish in this run for the Roses in 1994. You know the top 3. Brocco ran 4th. Southern Rhythm was 5th. Our Budweiser long shot in the telecast. Soul of the Matter 6th. Tabasco Cat, the Lucas Story 7th. Palace Castle, Barry Gordy's horse 8th. Mahogany Hall, Dogwood, Smilin', Singin', Sam 10. Then Meadow Flight, Holy Bull, the race favorite, finishes 12th of 14. Ulysses was last. Dave, your thoughts on this Kentucky Derby of 94?
Experience counts. The horses did the best today who had the trainers and the jockeys with experience down this rocky Triple Crown road. There were 4 trainers who had won the Derby. They finished 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 7th. A smorgasbord of talent, and all 3 jockeys who finished in the top 3 had won the Derby before. Yeah, experience counts here.
Dave Johnson, voice of the Triple Crown for ABC. Want to remind you, we'll be heading to Pimlico, our Preakness special, before the Black Eyed Susan run. That'll be 3:30 Eastern, May 21st, 2 weeks from today. As you see, the Kentucky Derby is now history. Go for Gin. The gold colors of Bill Condren, Joe Carnacci, Nick Zito trains, Chris McCarron rides, and Go for Gin wins the 1994 Kentucky Derby. Our Kentucky Derby special, the wrap-up show on ESPN, has been brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates, by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds your friends know when to say when. The DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century. And by Keeneland, source of the classic horse. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winter Communications. Stay tuned. ESPN brings you America's premier cycling race. The Tour du Pont is next. So long, everyone.